guys. Okay. It was, man, really fast. It seems like we just got here, but there was a lot of good work. You know, the fans were excellent. You know, I even appreciate, you know, Gary's etiquette towards me this last couple weeks. I'm just kidding. No, but, you know, really been pleased with our group. It was, you know, Loyola Marymount was excellent. We'll obviously be here next year. And then, as you guys know, we'll be moving to Woodland Hills, but not quite yet. They're still in the midst of finishing that up, so we'll go back to Cal-Lu, or, you know, no window and all, and I'm going to love every second of it. And so, no, they're doing a great job of being able to expedite that construction. The biggest, the most important thing was making sure that when we do move into Woodland Hills, our players have everything that they need so that it doesn't take away from our preparation. Fortunately, our support staff has done an amazing job of allowing us to have the flexibility of being at Cal-Lu for these next couple weeks, and then hopefully when we get back from Houston, that'll kind of be, you know, the temporary, you know, timeline or, you know, date that we'll set to move over there. But as long as we got the film, a field, and the guys have everything that they need, that's all we really care about as coaches. But, you know, with that, I'll open up with questions.
Was that a surprise? I mean, we kind of were all under the impression that you guys were just moving into the valley.
Yeah, you know, I would say no. I think when you look at just some of the things, there's so many layers to it, Jordan. I know that everybody's doing everything they can to urgently be able to finish it up. But that's what's great about, you know, having Cal-Lu, where we can go back there temporarily. And like I said, I think the most important thing is that it doesn't take away from our ability to prepare for the season. And I don't anticipate this affecting us at all.
That was my question. I mean, so you're gonna have to move, and all the players are gonna have to get acclimated to a new facility a week or two before you start the season. Are you concerned all the moving?
No, you know, because I think it's as big a deal as we make it. You know, and as long as the guys have everything that they need, I kind of like, you know, it's a very lively area. There's a lot of stuff going on there for guys to be able to go to dinner, different things like that, for coaches to be able to do the same. And so I don't worry about it, but what I do want to make sure is the functionality in terms of everything we need, Gary, to be able to prepare. You know, you look at it whether it's here or when we've traveled for a couple days at a time on the road. I mentioned our support staff. They've done an incredible job of allowing us to be able to kind of pick up everything that we need, make it comfortable for the players, and still be able to give them, you know, the treatment and all the things that are in alignment with putting them in a position to be at their best. And so I don't anticipate it being anything that will affect us.
Do you have an update?
I'll come to you right
Do
after.
you have an update on Rob Havenstein?
You know what? It's his ankle. You know, he'll be week to week, kind of similar to Jonah with his shoulder.
Not season ending?
No.
You mentioned that it's only as big of a deal as you make it. You got the Chargers tomorrow. They're not on the schedule for regular season. I'm wondering, do you go into this like, oh, it's just our business. You know, we're going to learn what we learned from the experience, not our schedule, do our thing. Or do you embrace this is Los Angeles, you got Harbaugh now, it's like the most competitive guy in the world. Yeah. And, like, are you embracing, like, hey, this is our city, like, we leaning into the competition?
It's the first part. You know, I mean, certainly it's a great opportunity to compete against, you know, another really good team. And I got a bunch of respect for Coach Harbaugh, the way he does things. And so what I think is great about these opportunities is we get a chance to practice, you know, against three separate teams, none of which are on our schedule. They're all really different schematically, offensively and defensively, and really in the kicking game. And so these are great opportunities for us to be able to test our rules, to be able to compete, but do it in a smart way where we're minimizing the risk for injury. And I've always really enjoyed these. And I feel really good about talking with Coach Harbaugh. Kind of the rules of engagement, they're very much in alignment with how they practice is how we practice. And our guys know how important it is for us to be able to go get that work. And, you know, this is about that time where you're tired of going against one another. There's a certain familiarity, and I think it'll be healthy for us to be able to see each other, to see another team, if you will. And the LA thing doesn't really have anything to do with it for us, as long as, you know, we're just looking forward to getting some good work and really testing our rules. And fortunately, if we have some things that don't go down the way that we want, there's no consequences, and we'll be able to learn from it and be better for it.
Coach, Deshaun Johnson made a really spectacular play on defense today. What kind of camp has he been having, and what's his prospects of making this football?
Yeah, that was a great play by Dez. You know, we ended up having a simulated pressure. He was looping for contain right there and tips it up and ends up kind of bobbling it about 15 times towards the other end zone. But it was a great play. I think he's done a great job. Giff Smith and A.C. Carter, excellent coaches that have really helped Dez take some steps in the right direction. He's obviously always been a guy that has some twitch and upper body explosiveness. I think he's starting to really understand how to be a complete player in both the run and, you know, when we get into some of those opportunities to be able to rush the passer. But I've been pleased with Dez.
Coach, how have you seen a guy like Ernest Jones develop and mature his game as far as his leadership coming in from last season, coming into this season as well?
Yeah, Nick, I think the thing about Ernest is there's certain guys that have a magnetism, a charisma, and a presence about him where it's just easy. You know, you feel his presence on the field, and he's got such a physical style to his game, but he's also got a swagger, a confidence. He carries himself where he's mature beyond his years, and he brings a toughness to our group. We didn't have him all throughout the spring, but then as soon as he was out here, even as we were kind of just building up his workload, I love Ernest. He's a great leader, and I've really been pleased with Greg Williams. He's done an outstanding job with that group as a whole. You're seeing Ernest take steps in the right direction, and I think a lot of the things that make him special are not necessarily what you can really see during these types of settings because of the physicality, the ability to read and recognize plays where you're taking guys to the ground, some of the ways that you can utilize him, being able to go forward, but I think he's also taken some big steps in coverage. But I love Ernest. Been really pleased with him as a leader, Nick.
Will Alec practice tomorrow?
I don't think so. We want to be smart. It was a weird deal where he kind of just rolled up his ankle. It's nothing that we expect to be long-term. It was day-to-day. Now it's kind of week-to-week. But I thought he was having a great camp. And I think the worst thing we can do is rush him back. In the meantime, we're going to learn about some guys. And, it's a Rolodex of guys that are in there right now, even with that first group. And I think it's only going to force those guys to mature and accelerate their learning process, especially with just some of the ways that we operate with Matthew at the switch.
What does a joint practice allow you to do that you either can't or don't want to do against her?
Say that again for me.
What does a joint practice allow you to do that you maybe wouldn't want to do against her?
I wouldn't say anything in that regard, Sarah, but what it does is you get an opportunity to see things that maybe we wouldn't do offensively. There is an element of being involved with the offense the way that I am. I do feel like a contribution I give to the defense is making sure that you see a bunch of different stuff. It's well documented, that we are a heavy 11 personnel outfit. What I think is great about the Chargers with Coach Roman and Coach Harbaugh, they'll mix personnel groupings. They'll do some things that are maybe a little bit different, but very successful in its own right. And so that's what I like about it, Sarah. You'll get an opportunity to go against Coach Minner, and you see what a great job he did at Michigan. And there's some similarities, but big differences. And then when you get a chance to match up against some of their players, that's always a real benefit. So seeing different schemes, obviously we want to identify teams that aren't necessarily on the schedule, and that's what we were able to do with all three of the teams that we're practicing against this year.
Are there any players or groups that you're curious to see how they respond to it?
I think really all of them, Adam. I'm interested in seeing just how our team takes steps. There's certain spots right now that, based on some of the injuries, that we are a little bit, I don't even know if thinner is the right word, but you're having guys play that maybe we didn't count on at this point with some of the first groups. And so I'm looking forward to just seeing how our team handles it, and it's an opportunity to take a step in the right direction. We won't make it anything more than what it is, and it's another practice, but it's an opportunity to compete. And I think we want to create good stress in these atmospheres and environments because that's what game day is. And that's what we try to simulate as much as possible.
I know Steve has position flex, but how important is it to keep him at center repping with Matthew?
It is important, but I think also what we have to be able to, plan for are, some of the unforeseen things. God forbid whether it's a Kevin Dotson or, however long Joan is out, if we deem that whoever is, can plug in at center gives us a better opportunity for him to play at guard, then that's what we'll do. We'll find the best five. It's really important. He's gotten a bunch of reps, Jordan, and I think he understands there's a lot of nuances to play in that spot, but there is a lot of nuances to play in the left guard spot as well. And so I think we want to be able to, pick and choose, but, we want to keep him at center, but if we have to move him to guard, that's not something we're afraid to do either.
Sean, what do you recall, if anything, about your first in-person conversation with Tre'Davious, and what have you seen through training camp in terms of him being able to possibly start?
Yeah, it's been, again, you watch these guys, and Gary, I'm a big fan of this game, and his game is well documented as a competitor. Even when you just watch the tape, his pre-snap, just alignment, stance. I mean, he looks like a guy, he's freaking ready to go, and I love that about him. And then you get in there and you spend a couple hours with myself, Aubrey, and Chris, and the guy loves football. Aubrey's taking him through, and Chris is taking him through some of the things that we would do. What's the vision for him? I think it really helped to be able to have Neil Elatrash, here to be able to kind of give him advice as he's working through coming back from the Achilles. Obviously, Reggie was a big advantage, but this is a guy that's passionate about a lot of the things that we're passionate about. Leadership, football, family. He's a special guy, and I was really fortunate and really, I was really happy when he decided that he wanted to come play for us because he had a lot of options, a lot of teams that saw what we did, and he's getting more and more comfortable. You can see the competitiveness. Had a couple opportunities to be able to make some picks. I was joking with him that we got to be able to finish, but his concept recognition, you show him the same play twice, he's going to be all over it. And you know, I've really been pleased with him. I think he's done a great job, and you can see he's getting more comfortable, really testing and exploding, you know, off of his lower half, whether it be the Achilles or even the knee from a couple years ago. Okay? Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right.